Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to episode 9, which is a chat with Georgia Page. Georgia is an osteopath. She is a women's rugby league player, and she's an NRLW player as well. And I first met her in February last year, before we'd even heard of COVID. We met at the local dog park where we used to take our dogs at sunrise for a little run around before work, and because we were the only ones there, we got to talking about all things health, fitness and well-being related, and we have remained friends ever since, even though Georgia has since moved away from the area. One of the things Georgia has done recently is establish the Women's Rugby Academy, which she hopes to close that big skill gap that exists between men and women. She's helping girls and young women who are playing contact sport prevent injury and be much more aware of the differences between, a men and women's biomechanics. Which is something that you definitely want someone who knows what they're talking about to teach you. So head over there if you do get a chance. On Instagram, it's W Rugby Academy, and Georgia is Geo Page. I really hope that you guys enjoy this Sunday morning chat that I had with my friend Georgia Page.
It's just a creative pursuit. It's something that I wanted to do, which sort of combines a lot of things that I like doing digitally, and just putting myself out there, meeting people and finding out their stories.
Well, I have questions for you. For you.
I mean, imagine the randomness of the internet in person.
Listen to the one with the real estate guy, Eddie.
What's the sausage to you, Eddie?
It's like, how am I going to follow this guy?
Yes, we're a very serious podcast.
And my brother would be like, yeah, you are stupid.
Like feeling proud of themselves, feeling uplifted and feeling confident.
Will you do The Sopranos? Yes or no? Tell me.
You've done a nutty round.
I can't believe I've done it.
People kind of looked at me and they were like, the fuck? Like, this kid's
It's
interesting.
just me and my phone and sometimes a friend who I trick to come over and take pictures.
Subscribe because it's so good.
If anyone ever looks back and goes, wow, I should have done less of that thing that I love.
Trust me, it ties in.
Yes, I can't hear myself now. Yes.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's so good now.
Yeah,
it looks so long right now.
I just actually thought of myself, I was like, damn, my hair looks so long.
It's like really long. Wow. Maybe I should cut.
It's washed, that's why you never see it when it's washed now.
Yeah, it looks heaps long. Yeah. I thought you would be training or something. I didn't mean to get you out of bed. I thought you'd be up.
It's a Sunday. On a Sunday, it's like I would usually maybe go for like a walk or something, but I'll sleep in a little bit. Like I'll wake up at 7:40 or something, you know what I mean? Rather than like 6:40, yeah. I'll just lay in bed.
Yeah.
And then
does Charlie whinge? But
no, he's pretty good.
Zero has started to actually whinge now. It's fucking annoying. He never
like if you don't go for a walk.
Oh God, was at the door before going like because I didn't do it this morning.
Oh no.
Hey,
I think his Charlie's getting older now.
Yeah, right. He's just calming down a bit. Yeah.
He's like 3.5 now.
Yeah. Well, it's it's such a routine because of this pool business. Because we're both it's like a daily contract, so every day we have to go out and do it. So we take turns. So it's just, whereas before sometimes I'd walk him in the morning, sometimes it'd be a bit later, but now it's like, he's really in that habit. So he's started to do that like whining sound, and it's so annoying. Like he's really.
What about Simba?
No, he doesn't do it, but he does the whining excited sound when you're at the gate of the dog park now, like Charlie used to, like hardcore. Like, he's like
so excited.
Open the fence. Yeah. But yeah, how's Newcastle?
Yeah, I like it here actually. So I like it here better than I like Wollongong, and I liked Cronulla, but I like it. I really like it. It's good. It's a good spot.
Is it quiet?
The beach is nice.
Tell me about the academy thing that you started.
the thing. So I wanted to start like a women's rugby academy, like an online platform where female contact sport athletes, whether it's rugby union or rugby league or AFL, maybe not so much AFL, but they'll still learn a lot from it, is that they have information that they can access to do in regards with like nutrition, recovery, for female athletes specifically. And then on top of that, there's like going to be skills broken right down so that girls can really learn the basics properly, because there's like between men and women, there's really a big skill gap problem, and it's closing, but it's just because times are changing now. But when I started playing, there really hadn't been that many, like the sports science hadn't really got pushed into women's rugby yet.
Yeah.
And even like I started playing when I was 18. Girls are starting to play earlier now, but there's still a lot of girls will pick up rugby when they're 16, 17, 18 rather than 5. So boys will pick up footy when they're like 5, 6. That means that they've got literally like 10 to 12 years of just practicing tackling and that before like other older girls will come in and just start to learn. But it's like, you know, think about the weight differences and so I find a lot of girls get injured really early on because they haven't trained for it, you know.
And I guess
that's why I wanted to start it.
Yeah, and so like I guess from 5, I mean, you see kids who do like gymnastics and stuff, they're agile and they're flexible and they lose it. And I guess from 5 to 15, if you haven't been, like, there would be tons of agility and stuff that's required to begin learning it at like 16, 17, compared to learning it at 5. You wouldn't be as agile and as flexible to do it. But do you so when did you start actually playing? So how long have
when I was 18 I was 18 and now I'm 26, so 8 years.
8 years ago. So yeah, right, so it's changed heaps in 8 years, but not enough, I don't think. I mean
no, there's still lots of girls, like there's definitely girls are starting when they're about 12, 14, like that's what I'm seeing. I mean, I could be wrong, but there's still like this whole stigma around strength training, and girls typically won't get in the gym maybe until they're 18, which boys will start when they're 14. So it's like, that's already another gap there. And it's like, you know, girls think they're going to get muscular and not be as feminine, but it's like, well, you want to protect your body, you know. So just trying to get that message out there to girls.
I can't believe that they still feel that way.
It's still, I think,
yeah,
it is changing, but it's still, you know, it's such a paradigm. It's like you want to play like a masculine sport, but you want to look good still, of course. So you don't want to look too masculine. Although weight doesn't make you look masculine. I mean, it depends how you're eating yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're eating bad shit food, then of course you're gonna put on weight. And then if you're in the gym, then, you know, you might get puffier rather than lean.
Yep. Why did you want to play rugby though first, right? Why did you want to play contact sport? You're sculling your coffee.
I think it just kind of, the opportunity just arose randomly. Like, it wasn't like I was searching out for rugby. I played basketball for the last kind of 4 or 5 years before I went to university. So maybe between the age of like 14 to 18, I was playing basketball. And then when I finished school and I got my my offer for uni and I moved to uni, I started playing basketball there. But the comp was pretty shit and I just wasn't enjoying it. So I stopped playing. And then I just started playing like social Oztag. And I'd never really, like, I played a little bit of touch in that at school. You know, you just like chuck the footy around at lunchtime or something. But I'd never really like played Oz tag touch or anything during my school years compared to a lot of like girls and guys. So I just was having fun with that for about a semester and a bit, and then a girl was like, "You should come play rugby sevens." I was like, "Rugby sevens, like contact rugby sevens?" And she was like, "Yeah, you'll like it, and you'll be good." And I was like, "All right, well, I'll give it a crack." And then I remember going to like a few training sessions, and I was like, "This is kind of fun." Like I didn't really understand it, and then we played a game against Coffs Harbour, and I loved it. I was like, "This is epic."
Yeah. What was it? What was it? Why did
sevens.
No, but why did you feel that way?
Why'd I love it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's just like the adrenaline rush. And back then when I was like 18, I was quite fast. Like I'd come from I had no big injuries really. Well, I had a few big injuries, but none that really affected my lower limb. So, and I was quite small back then. I was maybe like 64 kilos. And I'm like a solid 8-9 kilos heavier now. So back then I was like scoring tries, and it was, you know, epic adrenaline, the aggression and like the camaraderie between like your teammates. I just really love that team style training, like having been in basketball and then, you know, not really playing sport and just muck around social. I miss that competitive stuff, and I loved it from then.
Yeah. Is there a lot of differences between basketball and rugby in terms of that camaraderie, that team?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like because
more
it's
celebrations when you score a try.
Well, yeah, more so it's not such a high. You don't get like a high point scoring game really compared to like basketball, but I think there's something different about putting your body on the line it's like you're putting your body on the line for your teammates really. So I think that triggers like a response in people's brains that really creates connection.
Yeah, you've just made me remember that when I used to play baseball for one season.
season.
When I was 14. But I was one of two girls in the whole I don't know,
team
comp. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like boys under 16 and we were 14 or 15 anyway, so I'm pretty proud of that. But we did you know, we had to do sliding practice. I remember Tuesday nights we did sliding practice, and it was just like throw yourself, like to get that home, you know, to get home, just do it, don't be scared, just throw. And it was, and the times that we had games and you would slide home, it was fucking scary because I'm not a contact sport person, but yeah, it was, yeah, I can actually you know, imagine that's how you would feel about rugby, that when you're putting your body on the line, it's quite a thrill when it's successful. Where's it most popular? Where is rugby most popular in the world?
Probably New Zealand and England.
Oh, okay, New Zealand. Yeah. So in America, was that
America's pretty popular too.
Yeah. How is that? So
best time of my life living in America. Was one of the best things I ever did.
Yeah. How long were you there for? A year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just under a year, like 11 months or something.
And the bloody video that I played last week. You know what I think about that? I can't help now thinking that if that had have been a guy that broke his nose while playing footy, that nobody like would have really cared that much. The fact that it was a chick, that it was you, and then they've gone like hell for leather about how, I mean, it's a good thing for girls. I think it's a great thing for girls, but think about it, like if that was a guy, if that happens to them, you know, that you see them on the TV with blood all over their face and no one says anything. Well,
you'll see it and you'll think, oh yeah, they're tough, but it doesn't really go anywhere from there. You know what I mean? Like it won't get millions of views. Like people will look at it and be like, yeah, that guy's a tough footy player, but it's just normal. Whereas like, you know, that video of me playing footy in America where I got the blood all over my face, no one's really, at that time, I think times are changing, but at that time in 2014, one of those, you know, like it would be weird for people to see a blonde, like pretty girl playing footy, tough as nails, spitting blood. Like that's a weird sight for people to see
Yeah.
at that time. But you know, for me, like as a footy player, that is very normal. Like I would see that not often, but I definitely have seen other female athletes, particularly like rugby sevens players with bloody noses and broken arms and still playing. So
Yeah. Did you get messages from any girls because of that?
To be fair, I can't really remember, but I'm sure I did get lots of messages. I got so many messages at that time from that video, just from even like from young girls' dads, like saying that their daughters loved it if they were like 12 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a good opportunity to be able to talk about women in sport, and
it shone a light on women's rugby. It wasn't so much just about me, it just got the rugby out there into the world.
What made you want to, you're an osteopath, what made you want to be a doctor?
An osteopathic doctor.
Yeah.
Before I played basketball, I played tennis. When I was a kid, I played all the sports in the world. Like I did not care about studying academics. I just wanted to play sport. And I hurt my back and I couldn't play at the time. And I remember being so upset and seeing physios, chiros. I saw an orthopedic specialist and no one really helped me. Like I remember in a lot of pain. And then I saw an osteopath and he like fixed me within like 2 weeks. And I remember being like, I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to help people like that. And yeah, that's literally why I became a doctor.
How many years of uni is that?
5 years. 5 years.
And that will kind of overlap into the academy stuff, that sort of whole.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit, but I think being an osteopath and having gone to university for 5 years, I understand how to read and critically analyze research, which if you haven't gone to uni, you probably don't know how to do that just because you haven't been exposed to it. Like you could teach yourself, but it's just like, you know, when you are studying, you're always critically analyzing things. So I'll be reading research papers and I can digest it.
Yeah.
So I can put that into use.
Talk to me about the importance of sleep, because I know that when we first met, you said to me, I don't know why we were talking about mindset. I don't know how we were just straight onto health and fitness, but I remember you saying to me, have you read this book? It's called Why We Sleep. And I bought it that day and read it. Not that day, but I read it pretty soon after. Tell me why sleep is so important and why should people sleep more?
Well, if you could put all of the benefits from sleep in a pill, it would be the most sought after pill in the world. Like whatever pharmaceutical company put that together would be the richest. And the pharmaceutical companies are already the richest in the world. So
yeah,
you know, sleep is the most underrated tool of recovery. And, you know, not to scare people, but the scientist that wrote that book uses like scare tactics when he talks, I find. So he would say, look, you're killing yourself if you're not sleeping at least 7 to 8 hours a night. Like you are increasing your likeliness for Alzheimer's, you're increasing your likeliness for heart attacks. It's pretty crazy. And so if you're not getting enough sleep, you know, you're not letting your body repair memory recalls from the day that you learn, like it's just crazy. And when you sleep, your brain has this you know, have you heard of your lymphatic system? You know, when you get sick and you get like you touch your lymph nodes and they're like swollen.
Yeah.
So your lymphatic system is there to help clean your body as such, and get rid of all the debris from what's kind of happened during the day, or so in our brain, we have this system called the glymphatic system. And when we sleep, the glymphatic system actually sucks in and out of our brain. And so that's when it cleans our brain. And that's where the decrease in likeliness of getting Alzheimer's, if you get appropriate sleep, happens. So sleep is, like I said, the most underrated tool of recovery. Yeah. And I know that you're probably not the best sleeper.
I'm pretty good now. I'm pretty good.
That's
I do
good.
take melatonin. I do take. What's your take on taking melatonin?
It depends. I think if you've tried to do it naturally, like if you've tried to do all of the right sleep stuff naturally and you still can't get to sleep, then fair enough, use it. But what happens when you start giving yourself a hormone is that your body naturally responds to, oh, I've got enough of this now, then I won't produce as much. So that's like the counter benefit. So I think like when you are going to use something like melatonin, it should just be a short-term thing in the sense that you are trying to get your sleep hygiene and sleep routine down to a T whilst you're doing that, and then like slowly wean your way off it. So that's my kind of take on it.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And I really like the term sleep hygiene. That's awesome. That makes you really want to sleep more because you feel really dirty that you're not. And it doesn't. You do feel dirty. But I have to get up every day pretty early if I'm doing this job. And yeah, definitely like it's 7:30, 8 o'clock. I'm like, right, it's starting to get ready for tomorrow now. So it's really not too bad lately, but it used to be bad.
Well, the good thing, I suppose, being in lockdown is you don't have to rush to get the kids off to school and do everything before they start. It means you can sleep in a little bit longer.
That's right. Yeah.
That's another pretty crazy point. Like kids should realistically be sleeping longer, but because of school start times, we're kind of like stunting their sleep, essentially.
Yes.
Because of their different hormonal cycles compared to adults, like kids need way more sleep. Especially teenagers. Like we'll get the shits. Like, well, you'll get the shits. My mum used to get the shits at me when I was a kid. Like I'd just be able to stay up really late, like want to sleep in. She's like, you've got to get up tomorrow. And I was always like, yeah, but I'm not tired. Like I can stay awake. And it's like, because that's your natural cycle when you're a teenager due to the releases at different times of the day. It really affects teenagers going to school and that, just because literally that's what our brain is doing. Like it's not our fault.
Yeah, and they're up late, and exactly, and then they can't get up in the morning, and you're like, oh, get out of bed. Yeah, it's not. It's we are trying to fit.
We're literally set up to fail.
Yeah, exactly.
Does not work for us.
Yeah,
like realistically, if you could start school at 10 o'clock, it would be probably the best.
Yeah, that would be ideal. And they
10 o'clock to a little bit late, like just shorten school times, but then it's like that doesn't work for society. Adults that have to go to work. Yeah,
exactly.
So, and then there's all these different chronotypes, which means like, for example, you could be an early bird and I could be a night owl. And then it's like, well, if I'm a night owl, that means that I work better at night, but I can't get up and go to my work in the morning or whatever. So
talk to me about periods. You're big on women
talking about it.
Yeah, of it, and not sort of shying away from it or pretending it doesn't happen, or
it's such a funny thing to talk about because people get really weird about it. Do you remember when you were younger and you like had to buy like tampons or you had to buy like pads and you're like, oh, I don't want this person to see this. And then it was funny when the self-serve came and you're like, yes, no one has to see that I'm buying this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like that it wasn't like you didn't talk about it to people except for maybe your mum and your close friends.
Absolutely. And you know what I do? We sit here openly at home and talk about that kind of stuff. Not like every night, like let's gather around and talk about mum's periods, guys. But Ryland's nearly 11. He'll be 11 next month, and he's aware of why they happen and what it means. And why there's a big red dot on the calendar every month that I put there, and and that's just people, I guess I've likened it to him to people that might have diabetes, right, and they don't have enough of this hormone in their body. Well, women, every month their hormones go like that, and it makes their brains work differently and their bodies work differently, and and they're aware of it, and they just do not think it's a big deal. Like, they just, I mean, Emma said really loudly out the back, when I was hanging washing out, she came out, she goes, "Mom, do you still have your periods, or can we have a bath tonight?" And I was just
That's so funny.
It's a fair question, like, it's fine. And I was like, no, that's cool, we can have a bath tonight. She couldn't give a shit. Which I like that we've done that for them, because it should just be normal. But in terms of sport and training, how important is it for young girls and even guys, coaches and stuff,
to know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is one of the most important things a female athlete can use to their advantage. But if you're not tracking it and you're not aware of it, then it can be a big disadvantage for you, just because there's so many changes that your body's going through. Like, even to the extent, the luteal phase is essentially 2 weeks before you get your first day of your bleed, right? So in the luteal phase, because of the hormonal changes, this you call the high hormone phase. So I'll refer to it as like the high hormone phase. So the changes can affect your respiratory system. And when it affects your respiratory system the way that it does, it can increase your respiratory rate, which means that you're taking more breaths, likely to be more shallow breaths. And that can in turn increase anxiety, increase low back pain. This could be why girls can start to get more severe low back pain as such before they start their cycle. Your volume and intensity needs to go down in this phase, just because you're not able to use your glycogen as well compared to when you're in the first 2 weeks. But that means that you've actually got to eat more in the luteal phase. So if you're not fueling yourself enough, then you're just going to get fatigued and you're not going to be able to train as well. And it's knowing these things and then using the tools of knowing that and how to counteract it in your training, so that even so you don't feel like you're not training as hard. Because I know I'd be training, lifting heavy, and then just 1 week I'd be like, oh, why is this so hard right now? What's wrong with me? Not realizing that it's just my hormones changing.
Yeah.
Not really, not being so hard on myself. It's oh, I've gotten weaker. I thought I'd been training well. Whereas it's not that. It's literally, it's your hormonal fluctuation, and you're in your high hormone phase. Give yourself a bloody break,
Yeah, sure. When's the best time for a female athlete to go really heavy?
The first 2 weeks.
Of those first 2 weeks.
Well, the first first 2 to 3 weeks, the last just about 7 days before your period is kind of where you can, if you were doing a training program, a 4-week program, you would have the athlete deload that week and then ramp it up the first week of their bleed. Women aren't small men, where often in sports science, they refer to everyone kind of the same, and, the same program that you train a guy with should suit a woman, but that's not true at all. We have different hormonal cycles, and our body temperature fluctuations are different, and our respiratory rate and how you need to recover is different to a guy, the way that our cooling systems work. So you need to train us differently.
The ice baths, are you still having ice baths?
Yeah, we were having them every day after training, so 3-4 times a week.
I had a cold shower once after you was talking about it. It was the worst thing I've ever done.
Funny.
It's
funny
because
you have such you obviously have quite tough mental game. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to run a marathon. So you've actually got quite a tough mental mental game, but you can't have a cold shower.
No, it's
what is
fucked. It's so shit. Like it was just the worst feeling in the world. Like it was so bad. I don't know.
It's like
so bad.
Is it your perception making it worse? You know, like if you perceived that it's not going to be so bad, would it be better?
Fucking cold. Like, do you know, it's the opposite of what is great, and what is great is a boiling hot shower.
Yeah, but with everything that's good in life, it's usually not easy to go by. You know what I mean? Like, for you to be exposed to different temperatures means that you're giving yourself like cellular resilience.
Yeah, but I'm not going to space. I don't need.
You don't have to go to space. I mean, do you not want to get sick? That's like the main one.
Arguing with the doctor. No, listen. I get it that it's good for. I get that it would be very, very good for inflammation, because I mean, the first thing you do when you have sore is ice it. So yeah,
good for inflammation, good for the nervous system, good for the immune system, good for your cultivating growth mindset, good for everything.
How long do you have to sit in the ice bath for? Oh, are you there?
Yep. Where did you go? There we go.
How long's a good time to sit in the bucket of ice for? Lots of people.
3 to 5 minutes. 3 to 5 minutes.
What do you do? What do you think about? Do you meditate in there?
No, I don't know. I'll first think about my breathing, and literally for the first like 2 minutes it's cold, but then after that you're sweet. Like it's really,
you can't feel, because you're dead inside, because you can't feel yourself.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just the hands and feet. Like if I have my hands out, I'm pretty sweet. If I just sit there and I have my shoulders under, my hands out, I can deal with it. Having my hands under is that I find what really gets me.
Yeah, I think it is just, I don't know if it's the perception of it.
It's definitely
your body
panicking. A big part of it is the perception.
So if you just say, I'm really warm, you can use your mind, and you can use your breathing to actually warm your core body temperature while you're in there, and it doesn't feel like much. You will automatically go to hyperventilating. Oh yeah.
because it's cold, and it's like,
yes, I will.
So you have to be the one that controls that. But that's like anything, you know, like people that can do like 12-minute free dive, breath breathe, like hold, like they're wild. But people can adapt to that, you know. So humans are the most adaptive machine that there is.
You know, maybe there's a difference though to the shower thing and sitting in the bath. Like there'd definitely be a difference in how it feels, because you're completely submerged in water is not like it's.
I prefer to just get in an ice bath and have a cold shower. But if you don't have access to an ice bath, then cold shower it is.
So how long standing in the shower with the cold water? Christ.
3 minutes. Are you gonna give it a crack? I bet you if you did it for like 3 weeks, you would actually be sweet. Like you'd get there and you'd be like, oh well, here we are.
So once every 3 weeks?
No, you know what? I'm actually someone that's very much so like, if you don't want to do it, then it's usually good for you. Like if your brain's saying no, then you're very comfortable being comfortable. There's no growth in the comfort zone.
I know. All right. Well, I'll maybe in January I'll try it.
When it's warm. Do it in December, because it's still hot then too.
Yeah, I'll do it in December. I got it. But we've got to find something that's big enough to get in.
Just your bathtub.
Yeah, all right.
And you just put ice, or just have cold showers. You'd be sweet.
Thank you so much for coming on this podcast. Where can everybody find you, and where can they find the academy? What's the name of it?
Women's Rugby Academy, so at W Rugby Academy, and my Instagram is at geopage, so they're the main two.
And people can find you there and follow you and learn all about getting into ice baths and periods and football.
Exactly.
Awesome. All right, I will let you go.
Well, thanks.
Have a great Sunday.
You too.
See you
Bye.
online. Bye. Thanks for the chat, Georgia. As Georgia mentioned, go and check out the Women's Rugby Academy. A fantastic venture by Georgia, or GeoPage on Instagram. You'll be able to follow her. For now, I'm going to say goodbye. Go ahead and subscribe to YouTube channel, an alternative way of listening to the podcast I have set up. If you go to Instagram, you'll find me at Jane Bright. And next month marks 1 year of podcasting, so that's exciting. I'll be talking to my first guest, Josh Hawkins, again. See how he's doing. A big shout out to Eddie Shipek, who has been through the ringer with his health lately. Bounce back, Mr. Sunshine, and we'll get him on soon as well. Till then, take care. Bye.